Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back. I know you guys been waiting for this, and I just been working hard to push this out. In the first video, we went over creating a video background for Uber, and that was part 1. And now we're getting into part 2, where we're going to create the login view controller. So we're going to start with creating the buttons for the sign up and the register. And then we're going to just go all the way through creating a login view controller so that we can log into our Uber app. I keep saying Uber, but I really mean Uber because we're using Uber. But I have to relate the two so you know what I'm talking about. So let's get started. I'm excited. All right, so we're just picking up where we left off. There's nothing else that you need to do besides just getting under the you can just actually enter under this text center right here, and we're gonna start off by creating a new function. So we're gonna go func create UIButtons, and it's gonna take another container view. Let's see, container view, and that's gonna be a UI view. Alright, so in this function, this function is gonna create the sign in button and the register button. So let's begin. First, we're gonna create a margin, and you'll see why I'm doing that later on. Let's see, that's gonna be a CG float. It's gonna equal. We're gonna do 15-point margins, and then let's go middle spacing. It's going to be a CG float, and it's going to be 7.5. And I'll explain this as we get into the width of the button and the spacing. So let's create a button. Let's create sign in equals UI button. Whenever you, just like we did label, we went UI label, the two parentheses. It's the same way for the button. Actually, let me back out and go UI button. Alright, so now basically what we're gonna do at this point is just set the properties for the button, and that shouldn't be too bad. So let's go. First, we're gonna set off the title, and then we're gonna set the title color. So let's go sign in dot set title. And then we're gonna call this sign in. And actually, let's lowercase sign in, and that's gonna be dot normal for the state. That's the initial state of the button, which you're gonna look at before you click on it. So now that we have that, now we can go sign in dot set color. Let's see, set title color. And that's gonna be the title color. We're just gonna make it black. So we're gonna go UI color dot black color. For the state, it's gonna be normal. So we're gonna go sign in dot background color equals UI color dot green. All right, so we set that to green. And play around with that. If you don't want a green button, make it another color, and you can make your text another color as well. Definitely want you to start trying to do some things on your own, and just that's how you learn. Just messing around with different things and trying things on your own. It tends to start to stick to your mind. Alright, so what we're gonna do is set the width on the button. So we're gonna go sign in dot frame dot size dot width equals container view dot frame dot size dot width minus sign in dot frame dot size dot width. Alright, so right here we got we take the view's width. So think of the button starting off on the left side of the screen, and then right here you move it all the way to the other side of the screen, but the front edge of the button is at the other edge of the screen, so you can't see it. So then you minus that width, and then it puts it right at the right edge of the button is going to be at the width of the screen, and then we can start to center it. But before we do that, we have a certain position on the screen that we want it to be, so that's when we're going to minus the margin times 2, which is going to be 30. Margin times 2, and order of operations is first, so we want to do this bit of code first. So we want this to be in parentheses, and then we want to do another parentheses right there to do this second, because it's gonna go you're gonna go the width of the screen, and then you're gonna go minus the width of the button, and then after it does that, you're gonna go minus the margin times 2, and then right here is where you're gonna go divide by 2, and then you're gonna go minus the middle spacing, which is the 7.5. So on the second button, when we minus the middle spacing of 7.5, that's going to equal a total of 15. Just keep watching, and I have a video that I'm going to show you a whiteboard of me explaining the math in this scenario, and I think you'll really understand it. So let's keep on moving. Alright, so from here we're going to go sign in dot, and we're going to set the height, frame dot size dot height. Let's see, frame dot size dot height. This is going to be the height of the button, so we're just going to set that to 40. And I mean, that could be whatever you want. 40 looks good for me, so I'm going with 40. And now let's set the X coordinate. So this is going to be where the button starts. So frame dot origin dot X equals, and we're going to make this the margin. This is going to be the margin. Alright, so we have the margin set. And now let's set the Y. So sign in dot frame dot origin. Wait, oh, my spelling was off. Alright, and right here, is it still off? Origin, frame dot origin. Oh, we good. Alright, so we have the Y, so let's go. It's gonna be similar, container view frame dot size dot height, because we're working with the y-axis. So minus sign in button dot frame dot size dot height, and we're gonna do that first, and then we're gonna go minus 25, just so that it will sit back, so that we'll be able to see it. And you can play around with that if you want to make it come up higher. Then try that out as well. Alright, so let's see, what do we have here? Sign in dot frame dot origin dot y equals container view dot frame dot size dot height. Frame dot size dot height. Should be good there. I'm trying to see why we have an error. I think we're gonna need another parentheses right here, and we should be good. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we just have 2 more things that we need to do on this button, and that is going to be adding the target, so that we can tell a button what it needs to do when it's tapped. So let's go sign in dot add target, and then right here we're just going to say that the target is self, and then the selector is going to be sign in button pressed. That can be whatever name, but make sure you put the colon right here because it's a selector. And then that's going to be for UI control events dot touch up inside. Touch up inside is when you touch the button and then you lift your finger and it triggers. Alright, then we're going to go sign in dot, no, actually, you know what? We're going to go container view because we're adding it to the container view. Dot add subview, and then we're gonna pass in our button, which is sign in. Alright, so we good there, and let's just go through the whole process again for the register button. I could just copy and paste it, but I don't like copying and pasting. I just like to code it out. If it was just me, I would copy and paste it, but I want to actually show you, and I think you should do it as well just to get the practice. So let's go. Let's register. This is going to be the register button equals UI button. And we're going to go register.set title, and it's going to be register. It's going to be .normal. And then we're gonna go. We're gonna set the title color. Set title color, and we're gonna go UI color dot black color, and then it's gonna be .normal. Now we're gonna do background color equals UI color dot green color. All right. Register dot frame dot size dot width, and this is going to be the same thing. We're just gonna put out 3 parentheses. Oh, let's just do it. Let's go container view dot frame dot size dot width minus the register dot frame dot size dot width minus, which is the 30, which is going to be margin times 2. We're going to divide by 2 and minus the middle spacing. We're good to go. Register dot, we're going to set the height, so register dot frame dot size dot height. That's going to be 40. And we're gonna set the X for alright, wait, let's see. I got something going on here. Register that frame, that size, that height. Oh, we gotta put out 2 parentheses right here. Let's delete this, and that'll be good. We'll be good there. Remember, we had extra parentheses for the order of operations because we want certain things to happen before the other calculation happens. I'm still getting a red. Let me see what's going on. Let's see, we got 2 there, 1 there. No, I'm good. Alright, so we're going to go register.frame.origin.x equals container view dot frame dot size dot width minus register dot frame dot size dot width. Alright, so now we're at the width of the screen, and then what we're gonna do here is minus the margin. We're gonna put our other parentheses, just so you. A lot of times this might confuse people as well. Just all of the parentheses. We have the first parenthesis here, and then it matches up with this end parenthesis, and then this inner parenthesis is gonna match up. I'm moving this slow on purpose so that you can see it's gonna match up with this right here. So it's gonna go container view dot width minus the width of the button first, and then it's gonna minus the margin on the outer parentheses. And that's the order of operations. So let's go and set the Y. So we're gonna go register.frame.origin.y equals container view frame.size.height minus the button register.frame.size.height. And then we're gonna minus 25 for the bottom margin. We're gonna add our parentheses there. Now we're gonna add the target. And that's gonna be self. The selector is gonna be register button pressed. Make sure to put your colon for the selector so that it can take a parameter, which is going to be a UI button. And then for control events, we're going to go UI control events dot touch up inside. Alright, so we got that. Now we need to add the button to the view. Container view dot add subview, and that's going to be the register button. Alright, so now we have that. Let's implement our selectors, and then once we do that, we should be good to go. Let's make sure our alright, let's go. So we're gonna go func. Now make sure that you get sign in button press spelled correctly. It's gonna be sign in button pressed. If you don't have it spelled correctly, you're gonna run into an error. And then we're just gonna call it sender. You could call this button what you want, but it's taking a UI button. Add your exclamation, and let's go. We're just gonna do a print statement here and say just gonna say let's sign in. Alright, now we're going to implement the register button. So we're going to go func register button pressed. Going to say sender UI button. Curly brackets, and right here we're just going to say register. When we tap on those buttons, you should be able to see that in the console. Alright, so the last part that we need to do is scroll up, and we need to run this function, create UIButtons, in the function it's going to run right here to set up view, because we have to pass our view in. So when this function runs, it's going to pass the view in and run the buttons. So we're going to go self.create UIButtons, and then we're going to pass in the video view, and that's gonna, so basically it's going to add our buttons to the video view. Alright, so now we can run it and see what happens. Let's go, let's play this bad boy, see what we get. For me, this takes a little, a good minute. But it shouldn't be too long. We're looking right here. Any day now, white screen. Oh, looking good. So now we have our video background, our title centered, and then we have the two buttons right here. We have the 15-point margin here. We come over here, we have 15 points here, and then 15 here. Just looks clean, it looks good. And then we have our 25-point margin at the bottom right here. So if we tap sign in, I'll tap it multiple times and then tap register. You're gonna see that that's gonna pop in right here. Let's open this up, and you see it down here. So we're signing in and we're registering. So basically that part of the code is working, so we can start adding code to that to start like popping up a screen like a view controller. Let's just continue on. Let's move on. Okay, so I know what you just saw on the screen is you probably scratching your head. You're probably thinking, wait, what did he just do? So that's why I'm going to give you the quick math lesson to translate it between code and math, because when I started, I was the same way. I was like, what's going on here? Container view, that frame, that size, that width, times the margin divided by 2. it's just like when you can actually see the numbers, then you can really understand it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to draw iPhone right here, right? Okay, so, alright, so what I did was, I had margins of 15 points. So we got 15 here, 15 here, right? So what you want to do first is get the width of the screen, and the total width of this screen was, so you can see it, 414. All right. So I wanted to center the buttons in the middle of this area right here, and then it's 2 buttons. So I was gonna have 2 buttons right there, and that's how it would look if I don't minus the 7.5, what I'm gonna show you in a second. So let me just erase this real quick and show you. Alright, so we're going to take 414 and we're going to go 414 minus 30, which is 15 and 15, which these two right here equals 30, right? So we're doing that so that we can just get in between this center, like in this little area right here. So once we're there, then we're going to go, let's see, the 414 minus the 30 is 384. So that's where we get the 384. So in this area right here is going to be 384, and then we divide that by 2. So when we divide that by 2, and what we're doing right here is setting this for the width of the button. So when we divide that by 2, we're going to get the button. It's going to start at the 15 right here, and then it's going to come out, and it's going to stop right there. It's going to be equal. It's going to be 15 here, 15 here, and 15 here. When we divide those 2 buttons by 2, then it's going to be like this. So both of the buttons are going to be touching. So we know that this is the margins of 15, so we want the middle to be exact at 15 as well. So that's where we're going to go, and we get the 192. So the width of this button is 192, and then the width of this button is 192. And we got sign in, register. Trying to make sure you can see this. So we have the sign in at the width 192, and that at the width 192 plus the 30 on each end equals the width of the screen. So we want this to be 15, so we have to minus from the 192 7.5. And then 7.5 plus 7.5 equals the 15. So that's gonna, I got the eraser right here. That's gonna give you that 15 right in the middle, and it's gonna be just like that. So then you have 15 here, 15 points here, and 15 right on the end. And that's how you equally spread the buttons across the width of the screen. So just keep on watching the tutorial. There's more to come, and have a good day. Alright, so here what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sign up view controller. So we're going to go File, New, and then we're going to go to File. And then we're going to click on Source and go to Cocoa Touch Class. And this is going to be Sign Up View Controller. It's going to be in Swift, and it's going to be a view controller, so it's going to be a UI view controller. Alright, so let's hit next. It's going to go in our over group, our over folder. Alright, so now we have a sign up view controller.swift. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go to the main storyboard, and we're going to add a view controller on screen. The view controller that you're looking at right now is the video view controller. This is the view controller with the video background and the 2 buttons that we created. The reason that you don't see anything right here is because we did everything in code. I wanted to show you how to do everything in code. So now let's add another view controller. And let's see, it's going to be at the top right here. We're going to drag in a view controller. And then I'm just going to drag over to give me some space. And alright, good. So now we're working with this one. We need to go in and set it to be the sign up view controller, so that whenever we this will be the controller right here for our actual storyboard item, storyboard view controller. So we're going to do that. We're going to click here, and then we're going to come here, and then we're going to type in sign up view controller and hit enter on your keyboard, and that's going to tie this view controller with this controller in code. Alright, so let's tie in our navigation controller with this view controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the view controller right here, the sign up view controller that we set, and we're going to come in and we're going to go to editor and then embed in, and we're going to embed in the navigation view controller, because we want this to be a navigation view so that we can add our tab bars at the top, like so if we want to cancel the screen or continue on to signing in. So let's see, we're going to come here on the navigation controller, and don't need anything there. Let's click here. Don't need anything here. So we should be good to go. Alright, so now that we have our navigation controller and our sign up view controller, as you can see here, we're going to come into view controller, and then we're going to come down the sign in button press, because this is going to pop up when the sign in button is pressed. Let storyboard UI storyboard equal UI storyboard open parentheses. We're going to go with name, and right here when we set the name, we're going to set main, and we're going to set bundle to nil. And the reason we set the string as main is because the storyboard that we're accessing is main, so we set main right here. Make sure you do that, and I'm going to go let sign up VC, which is going to be a sign up view controller, equals storyboard dot instantiate view controller with identifier, and the identifier is going to be sign up. And it's going to be as a sign up view controller. Quickly showing you how to access that storyboard ID. Now we're going to create the navigation controller, so let navigation controller equal UI navigation controller open parentheses the root controller, and it's going to be sign up VC. So we're going to pass in our sign up VC right here, and then we are going to present, so self.present view controller, and we're going to pass in the navigation controller animated true, completion set to nil. Alright, so let's run our app and test out the sign in button. When we click on when we tap on sign in, we should get a blank screen. Any day now. This always takes a little bit, but we'll get there. Let's head over there and see if it popped up. Alright, back to it. Let's see what happens when we hit sign in. Bam! We get our screen. So good, we got our screen popping up, and now what we're going to do is add our tab buttons at the top and add the text field so that we can put a username and password in and then sign into the Uber app. What we're going to do here is add the tab bar buttons to the top right here. We're going to add some items with screen on the. We're going to add some items to the screen and then use auto layout to position items so that you can see how to position items graphically instead of just in code. So let's see, we're going to get a bar button item right here. We're going to drag it right here to the left, and then we're going to drag one right to the right. And in the Uber app, right here you have cancel, and then on the right side you have done. So we can just do that. We can just mimic that, cancel and done. When we hit done, this is where everything will be processed to actually sign into the app, and then cancel will be if you don't want to sign in and you want to go back to the video screen. Alright, so now that we have that done, let's add a text field to the screen, and this is going to be for the username. And as you can see, when you're positioning on the screen, you're gonna see that center line, but that's not gonna matter because we use an auto layout. It just helps you position things on the screen visually while you're looking at it. But if you were to run the app without setting the constraints, everything will look messed up. Okay, so let's make sure auto layout is on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click this button right here, and we're gonna look right here and make sure use auto layout and size classes are checked. And once you do that, you should be good to go. So let's get back into the screen right here. Alright, and let's put some placeholder text for this text field, UI text field. So we're gonna go username and placeholder, and then let's just make it a little bit bigger. So we have our username, and let's see, we want it like about right here, and that'll be good. Alright, so we can use auto layout. We can come down here and set the top constraint. We're going to set the width, we're going to set the height of the text field, we're going to add these three constraints, and then we're going to come right here and we are going to horizontally center in the container, add that constraint, and let's add another text field for the password. So we're gonna drag this out, drag text field out again, put it where we want it, and you know what, in the Uber app it's it's really close together. So if you want that, whatever look, I mean, if you have it like this, it'll work, but you can even move it up like this as well if you want to do it like that, just like the Uber app. But this is Uber, so we're gonna just do it a little bit different here. We're gonna put a little bit of space in there. Alright, let's go. We're going to click this text field and we're going to add password for the placeholder text. So once we have our placeholder text, we're going to set this field to be a password field. So we're going to come in here and we're going to set that to secure text entry so that you can't see when you're typing it in. Alright, so we should be good here. Let's move on. We need to actually set some constraints on password right here. So that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to come in here and we're going to set the top constraint. We're going to set the width, the height, add those constraints, and then we're going to come in and center horizontally, and we're good to go. Let's move on. Now let's test this and just make sure that all of that is working and we can see it and it's centered properly. So we're gonna run it, and I know it's gonna take forever because that's how it's been working. But let's check it out and see what we have here. Alright, so we have our screen up. We're going to hit sign in, and then we got our screen, and we have username and password, and it's perfectly centered where we want it at, which we put it right here around the top. And let me make it a little bit bigger so that you can see a little bit. Let's put it at 50 and see what we got here. Yeah, so that's looking good. Okay, so when the app hits the this screen right here, it needs to decide if it's going to be a sign-in screen or a register screen. If it's a sign-in screen, it's going to look like this. It allows the user to sign in. But if it's a register screen, we're going to have a few other items displayed on the screen for someone registering, and we're going to change this title to register. Okay, so what we're going to do first is create a variable so that we can pass data from the initial view controller over onto the sign up view controller. And you're going to see why we're going to do that in a minute. So first, let's begin by coming into the sign up view controller, coming right up here under IB outlet and above view did load, and let's create our first variable, which is going to be an optional. Very exciting. Alright, so we're going to go var button title pressed, and that's going to be a string, and we're going to make it optional with a question mark because there may be a value or the value may be nil. So we're going to have to do some checks for that. So let's head over to the view controller.swift, and now that we added that variable right here for sign up view controller right here, the sign up VC, we can actually access data or variables that we created in that view. So we can just come down here and go sign up VC. If I get my auto populate, okay, there we go. Sign up VC dot, it's gonna be button title pressed equals sender dot title label question mark text. Okay, so right here what we're doing is we're passing the label on the button, the text label on the button, over to this variable button title pressed. Okay, so now that we have that, what we're gonna do is head over to sign up view controller, and we're gonna do our if. We're gonna add an if statement to check to see if that button is not equal to nil. Okay, so we're gonna add another variable here. It's gonna be var is SignIn, and this is gonna be a bool. A bool has two states, true or false, and we are just using this to track to see if we're in a sign-in state or not. So we're gonna come down to view did load, and we're gonna go if button title pressed is not equal to nil, and we're gonna open it up, and we're gonna run another if statement, and we're gonna go if button title pressed is equal to sign in. Then we're gonna open this up, and set is sign in to true, and then we can actually print out button title pressed, which should read sign in, and we can print out the state so that you can check that out. All right, and then from here we're gonna come down here and we are going to enter down and close this out, and then we're gonna go else, and set is sign in equals false, and then we'll print out our register. And let's see if we're clear of errors. Let's run it. And we got a bill failed. So let's run it again. I might have had an extra bracket in there. Okay. So I had an extra bracket. We're going to head back over to viewcontroller.swift, and we are going to copy this code right here into the register. Stay with me. We're going to remove sign up VC button title pressed. We don't need that in there. So we're going to paste this in, and then we're just going to remove this out of there. And now we should be able to run our app and see what we get. So let's run it. And when we tap sign in, we should get sign in, and then when we tap register, we should get register. That's how we know it is gonna work. Okay, I got the app running on the secondary screen, so let me just move this over. Let's bring this through. Okay. And so we have our app here. Let's scroll down. Let's go to sign in. And there we go. We got sign in and we got true. Alright, so let's cancel and let's tap on register. And there we go. We got our register. So we're looking good. So from this point on, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it so that we can change the title to register when we tap on register, and then we need to add more buttons on the screen for someone that is registering. So we're gonna take care of that. Let's make a function for the code that lets us know if it's a sign in or register screen. So let's come here and copy this code and view did load. I'm gonna copy this all the way down. All right, let's copy it here, and let's take that out. Let's go down and make a function. Let's call it determine sign in or register. Paste our code in here, and then let's miss the C right here, func. All right, let's go back up and let's run that function in view did load. All right, so we have that running. Now what I want to do is change right here the title in this navigation controller. So we want to set it so that when we're on the sign in page, when we're on a sign in screen, it'll say sign in, and then it'll say register when we're on the register screen. So let's come in here and let's go, if sign in is true, then self.navigation controller dot top controller dot title equals sign in. All right, and then if it's false, then it's a register screen. So we're gonna go self.navigation controller dot top controller dot title equals register. Let's run this and test it out and see what we have. Hopefully it doesn't take all day to run either. All right, good. That was actually really fast. All right, let's go to register. See what we have. Up, register. Now we're on the register screen. Let's cancel out. Go back to sign in. We have a sign in screen. And one more. Register. So we're good to go. We're good. So let's get back into code and let's see what else we need to do here. Okay, so we want to determine on the register screen if the user is a rider or a driver. So we're going to use a UI segmented control to determine that. So we're going to come down here and let's pick out segment. Let's see if we can search it quick. All right, so we're going to go to a segmented control and we're going to drag this out to the screen. Make sure you got your blue line to center it. Let's see, we'll put it about right here. And double click this. We're going to say rider. And then double click here and set it to driver. And let's set our constraints. So we want the top constrained. And then we want to set the width and the height of this control. Let's add those constraints. And then let's come in here and horizontally center and container. Bam. All right, so that's good. So next what we want to do is set it to, we want to turn off selected. So we're going to come in here and come down and go to selected and turn that off. Because we don't want any of them selected. We just want the user to be able to select it. So once we have that set, we need to come into the sign up view controller and let's hide it. So if we're on the sign in page, I keep saying page, I mean screen. If we're on the sign in screen, then we want to set that to hidden. But actually, you know what? I jumped the gun. We need to get back into storyboard and let's open up the loops right here. And we need to make an action and an outlet for this control so that we can access it. So let's drag up. And we're going to create first an outlet and we're going to call this the rider driver control. Let's connect that. You can name that whatever you want. And then let's come down and create an action for it right under here. I want my action to be down here. Alright, so we're going to call this the rider driver. Let's just call it the rider driver. We can just call it rider driver. That's fine. Select UI segmented control and action. Alright, there we go. So let's space some of this down right here. And let's close this screen. I'm back on my, just on my Mac Air without the external monitor, so the screen space is limited. I'm trying to get these videos out quick to you, so I gotta make videos wherever I'm at. Alright, so initially we want to set this value to hidden. So let's click on this item and let's scroll down to hidden. Let's see what we have here. Alright, we want it to be hidden. Alright, so now the item is hidden, and then we're going to come into code and we're going to say, let's find, alright, so if sign in is false, then self.rider driver control dot hidden equals false. Okay. You can do it either way. You can do it false here, or you can set it to hidden here in the is sign in. So let's check this out. We're saying right now we're saying that if the sign in page, if is sign in is false, that means that we're on the register screen and the rider driver control shouldn't be hidden. So we set that to false because right now it is hidden. So let's get in and let's actually run it and see what we get. Alright, so if we go to sign in, we shouldn't see that control. But if we go to register, we should see the control, as we said. And if we cancel and go back to sign in, we should not see the control. Alright, so we're good there. So next, what we're going to do is implement the action for the rider driver. So we already set our outlet to access the hidden property. Now what we want to do is access the title of the button and do something with the title, which is set a variable called isWriter to true or false. So let's go up and create our variable for that. Var isWriter. It's bool. And then let's come back down here and let's go if self.writer driver control dot selected segment index equals 0. 0 is going to be rider, because in code we start with the number 0. So there's two controls. There's two buttons in that control. There's a rider and a driver. So rider is going to be 0 because it's in the first slot, and then driver is going to be number 1. So right here we're saying that if it's 0, that means that it's going to be rider. And then we can say if selected. Actually, we don't even need to go that far. If it's 0, we know that it's rider because we set it. So let's just set the variable self.isWriter equals true. And then we're going to put an else statement to say that otherwise self.writer equals false. There's only 2 in there, so we don't have to do multiple checks. And I forgot to put is in here, so let's pop that in there and let's check that out. Let's do a print statement. Print isWriter, and then we can go print isWriter. Alright, so let's run it and see what we get. Alright, so when we tap rider, we should get true because we're on rider and it's true. When we tap driver, isWriter should be false. So let's do that. Let's get back in. Actually, you know what? Let me stop this and let's rerun it. You know what? I'm going to stop it again because I want to just put a print statement right above it. It says I'm a rider, just so that we can separate it, because there was another statement, another bool statement that we printed out somewhere else. So let's just, right after I am rider, it should let us know if the rider is true or not. And actually, you know what? Let's put that under here just so we can see it. No, I'm just gonna leave it. All right, let's go. All right, so register and then rider. It should say I am rider and then it should say true. I am rider, true. Okay, good. And let's test out driver. False. All right, so We're saying, are we a rider there? And it's false, which means that we're a driver. All right, so let's see what we're going to do next. We're looking good here. Everything is looking good. We're all set here to be encoding the sign-in and the register. So what we're going to do now is create a function for a UI alert view, because we're going to need an alert when we're checking to see if the username.text is empty or not. So let's begin that. We're going to come down here and let's just make a function. Create the function and call it show alert. And then we're going to give it a title. And the title is going to be string. And then a message, which is going to be a string as well. So we're going to pass in what we want the title and the message to be, since we may have to use it a few times. So let's get this going right here. All right, so let's begin. We're going to go let alert equal UI alert controller. And then we're going to set the title to title, which is the title that we're going to pass in. So that goes, this title comes here to title. And then message here is going to be message here. So whatever we type in when we call this method is going to be here. So let's go message. That was a hard task to grasp when I first started out, but it's pretty simple once you understand that you're creating this function. It's going to take a title string and a message string. When you call a function, it's going to ask you for the title and the message as a string, and that's what you're going to have to pass in. So the preferred style is going to be UI alert controller style.alert, UI alert controller style.alert. And then we're going to go alerts.add action, UI alert action, and we're going to give this title, which is going to be for the button. Okay. The style is going to be UI alert action style default. Default style dot default, and the handler is going to be nil. All right, so now let's self.present view controller alert true. We can get some animation in there, and completion nil. All right, so we have our function here. So now let's go into our done action, which is going to be right here. And that's going to be, okay, so when we hit done, it's going to determine if we should register a user or sign in a user. So we have some variables to determine that. So right here, we're going to say if is sign in equals false, else. So right here, this is where we're going to register the user. I'm just adding a comment with the 2 lines right there, the 2 forward slashes. You can add a comment that won't get run. So comments are actually really good just to document what's going on in the code, to help somebody else out if they had to take over a project. All right, so we got is sign in equals false. That means that we're not signing in, we're registering. So we're going to say this is the register code, and then right here is going to be the sign in code. So now what we have to do is import parse, because this is where we're going to start using parse right now, the parse SDK. So come up to the top and go import parse, and I'm going to show you where you go to learn about parse and to learn about how to do what you need to do in parse. So we're going to go to Safari, and I'm already on parse.com. So once you get to parse.com, go to docs. and then in docs, go to guide. And also there was tutorials on the other page as well. But once we're in guides, then you have everything that you pretty much need to do on this left side, and you can look at samples of what's going on. So right now we're working with a user, so we want to go to users, and let's see what. All right, so signing up. This is going to be registering the user. Right here, you just need to create a PF user. And then you can set the username, you can set the password, and then you can set an email. We don't need email. We need to add the isWriter variable. So what we're going to do is create isWriter right here and create our own field. So once we get this code in, we'll be good to go. But you can copy it in, or just type it out. I'm just gonna type it out for you because I like typing. It just gets you to learn the code better. So let's go back into Xcode, and what we're gonna do first is just a quick check to see if there's text in the username field. So what we're gonna do is let's go if self.username.text equals empty string, or self.password.text equals empty string, or self.writer driver control dot selected segment index equals -1. Alright, so I got the -1. When you're coding, let's see, we're going to go here, and we're going to go to Apple. First, let's go to Google, and I'll show you how I get here. I usually go UI segmented control, and then Apple's going to bring up the reference. So you come here, click on the reference, and this is just a part of coding. You're going to have to just start going through this documentation when you need something, because it's hard to remember everything. So you're going to scroll down and try to look for, what I was looking for was for the UI segmented control to have a selected value. If it doesn't have a selected value, then I don't want to proceed, because we want to know if it's a writer or a driver. So you scroll down and look at the different items that you can use on a segmented control. And right here, if we come back up and see selected segment index, managing the segments right here, if I click on this, then it gives you a little description, the index number identifying the selected segment. And then it shows down here that the default value is no segment, and it says that you can set this property to -1 to turn off current selection. So since the default value is no segment selected, we want to check to see if there's no segment selected. That's why I used -1 in the code. Now what we're going to do next is I just want to put a red border around the UI text view for username and password, even on the segment when it's not selected, or when there's no values for username or password. So what I did was I went to Google again. My spelling is just off. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's go UI text field. Alright, so when you get in the UI text field, you scroll through, and I didn't see anything for the border, to set the border. You have like text color. It's everything to do with like the actual text field. So you can come up here and you can see what UI text field inherits from. So I see that it inherits from UI view. So maybe we should go to the view to see what can we access from the view. So when I go down to view, I still didn't see anything about border, but there is a layer property. So let's go down and I'll show you that. You come in, configure the view's appearance. Alright, I don't see anything about a border, but there is a layer. So let's click on layer. And when you click on layer, you can see that a layer is a CA layer. So the different properties involved with layer would be under CA layer. So you come in and you click CA layer. And it looks like we're getting somewhere now. You come down and you want to modify the layer's appearance. And look at that, border color and border width. We can use these. So let's begin to start to check the username text to see if it's, let's do an extra check so that we can add the red box around. Let's just get our else statement in here. So we have that, and then we're gonna go else. Let's just get that going so that we can set everything up we need to set up. This is gonna be our register code, and it's gonna be where we do our checks, and then this is where we'll actually do the actual registering. Alright, so we're back to it. Let's just go if self.username.text equals empty. Self.username.layer.border color equals UI color dot red color dot CG color. Self.username.layer.border width equals 1.0. Let's bring it down and just do another if. Self.password, and this is just extra checks just so that we can get this color going. That text equals empty. Self.password dot layer dot border color equals UI color dot red color dot CG color. And actually I'm typing all of this in. We could just copy this right here. Let's do a copy on that, paste this in here, and now I change this to password. Let's come back down and do another if. Self.writer driver control dot selected segment index equals to -1. That's gonna be self dot, wait, what's going on? Oh, let me take this back out. I gotta put a negative in front of the 1. And then we're gonna go self dot writer driver dot layer dot border color equals CG color dot UI color dot red color dot CG color. Self dot writer driver control dot layer dot border width equals 1.0. You can put 2.0, it will just be really thick. Alright, so now that we get here, now we want to show our alert down here. So we're going to go self.show alert, and our title is going to say missing fields. Missing field required. Let's do and then we're gonna go fill in or select missing fields in red. That'll be the message. Alright, so we should be good there. Let's run that and see how that works. Alright, we got register, and let's see, if we hit done, everything will be red. There's missing fields. Alright, so let's cancel out, let's go back in, and let's put something in username, and then skip, and let's select driver, and then hit done. So it looks like we're doing good. Everything is working the way that we wanted it to work. I spent a little bit of extra time on that, just to add a few checks, and you could add more checks in if you would like. I just wanted to give you some extra content here. I thought it would be cool to make that box red, you know, when there was no text in it. So let's proceed. So we're gonna proceed now down to actually registering. So once we get all of that good, then we can just register the user. Actually, let's go back to our code and just double check in parse what it was again. PF user, that's Objective C. You gotta make sure you get it to Swift. So we're gonna create a variable for that user. Alright, so we're gonna create our user variable. So var user equals PF user. Then we're gonna go user.username equals self.username.text. And then we're gonna come down, user.password equals self.username.text. And then we're gonna create the field. So we're gonna go user open brackets, and it's gonna be isWriter equals self.isWriter. That's gonna be our value there. And then let's head back over to parse and see what else we need to do. So we're going to have to set up the, we're going to have to sign in background with block. And then once we get to this point right here, it's going to let the user into the app. So we'll just put a quick statement there, quick print statement there. So just to save some typing time, it'll be way faster just to head over to parse, copy this code right here, because there's a lot that's involved with that. And let's see what we need. We just need it up to this point right here, because we got this one coming here. So alright, let's go back in and let's paste that in. Alright, so we're gonna just see what we got going on right here. It's saying that we need to take out the question mark, so we can do that. Alright, so enter down, and let's move this. And let's just do a print here. Login succeeded. Take this out, and let's use our alert right here, and we're gonna say, what is that, error string equals error. So let's just go self.showAlert, and the title is going to be, let's just call it error log, error registering. And then the message is gonna be error string. And this is actually an S string, so let's you gotta set string right here and then put in error string like that. Let's put another parentheses, and we should be good. Alright, now we can finally try to register a user and see what happens. So let's run the app. right, I'm gonna go to register, and then username I'm gonna make rrelf, and password is gonna be password, and I'm gonna select writer and then hit done and see what happens. Alright, so let's go check into parse. Well, first let's check to see if it was succeeded. Down here it says login succeeded. I put login there. I actually should have put register. Let's just change that. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna edit that out the video. It's succeeded. And I spelled succeeded wrong too. Alright, so with that changed, let's just run this again. I know I spelled that wrong, so let's just run it again so that you can see register succeeded. Let's just use it as test, and let's select driver. Hit done. You see it spinning. It's saved. We know it's saved. Register succeeded. And let's go head over to parse and check it out. So we're going to go to parse, and let's just get back to the main screen. I'm going to head over to our apps. Tap on Uber. Alright, so let's go down to our data, and we're going to find the user. Well, let's hope I'm in the right account. Wait, let's go to core, and then I'm going to go to user. See, we have 2 users. Alright, so we have the test user without is writer is false, and it's false because we set it to driver, and then we have rrelf right here when I said that I was going to be a writer, so it's true. So everything is looking good right now. We're doing really good. We just registered, and now all we have to do is set up the login, and then we can move on to part 3 of the video, which is actually getting into the maps. Alright, so we're scrolling down to our area where we're going to put our sign-in code. So let's backspace that out, and well, actually, you know what? We can leave that in. We'll just get under it. Let me get some of this. Alright, so we're in the sign-in code, and let's go to parse again. And let's go to docs, and we just need to grab some code to sign in. So we're going to come down to guide. Alright, so now we're going to go to users. Where's users? Right here. And what we want to do is sign in. So let's go to login, switch it to Swift. Alright, so we're going to use pf user login with username and background. We're going to give the username, and then we're going to give the password, and then pass in. So let's just copy this over and get this going. Alright, so we're going to paste this code in right here. So log in with the user in background. The name is going to be self.username.text. Password is going to be, I'm sure you know, self.password.text. So we're grabbing, what we're doing is grabbing the text. Wait, what's going on? Did I type something wrong? Password.text. Okay, let's unwrap it. We know it's going to have text because we did our check earlier. Alright, So self.username.text unwrapped, self.password.text, and that's unwrapped. So what we're gonna do now is as I was saying, we're grabbing the text from this text field. So when we go here and you see username and password, we're grabbing the text that the user inputs. That text variable holds the text that the user is typing. So if the user is not equal to nil, then we're going to do stuff after a successful login. So this is where we're going to bring the user to the screen that has the map. This is where we're going to bring the user to the screen that has the map view. So we'll just put in right now, print login successful. Forgetting the quotes. And otherwise the login failed, and we can just print the error out here. So we're gonna go if let error info equals error dot user info error as string self dot show alert sign up failed. The message is going to be error info. Should be good. Let's run this and see how this works. Alright, we're going to go to sign in. And then let's just try to sign in as just a username that's not in the box. So let's just go user. Sign up failed, invalid login parameters. Alright, there's one as well. So let's try test. Alright, so let's see, login successful. Alright, so we got a successful login. So now at that point right here on this successful login is where we would actually display the new screen. So this tutorial was great. It was great showing you guys this lengthy meaty tutorial on signing up, and I'll see you in part 3.